at us. Look at us. Welcome. I am back. I got sucked into a gravity well in the Chommel sector, but I am back on the podcast this week. It is Grant and I. For our YouTube followers, sorry we were not on YouTube last week, just on the podcast streams. Grant's good to see you, buddy. It was good to listen to the pod last week.
I am so happy that we're getting such good Star Wars these days. This show, like, what an incredible episode! I just want to shout out this episode 7. We're going to be in so much trouble. Is the title of Skeleton Crew. So good. I'm so happy we get to talk about it, and I feel bad Adam's not here.
I know he's in Niamas though, on a beach, sipping a greeny nog. So I think he's probably fine.
Yeah, he's got the greeny one, so he's good. Yeah, I'm so happy we get to, jump aboard the pirate ship and go full pirate. Just talk about this story and talk about some of the connections that are in some of the books that we've read in the past couple of years at the High Republic books. We'll talk about that stuff, I think, towards the end. But just talking about this episode beat by beat is gonna be so much fun. It's gonna be a blast. It
really is. I mean, it carries right out of last week. I have no notes on your podcast that you and Adam did. It was fantastic. I really went through all the things. The only other thing I guess I'd add is just they've traveled this weird line where they're not virtue signaling. Like, they're not beating you over the head with it. They're just sort of like people being good people and making nice decisions and following their own character arcs and all that stuff. And I don't know. It's a weird thing that I notice about shows. I don't like being beat over the head with virtue signaling of any kind, and I don't think this show does that at all. It's a weird way to start the podcast. I'm so stoked on this thing. Yeah, I don't know. It was just it was a really heartfelt, the second time I watched episode 6, the last episode, tears for the second half of that. And I was so into it. It felt so normal and so Star Warsy and so great. But yeah, everything you guys said about it was exactly how I felt, real classic 80s Star Wars in there.
Yeah, I watched with my family, and then we were all just aghast when we saw some of the special effects, heard some of the sound design. It was just really just incredible stuff. We were amazed, essentially. It was great.
Yeah. As an aside, I don't think I've pointed out the music much. We haven't talked about the music much in this show, but they're just doing astonishing things. I'm gonna have to do a listen, another watch through, and just listen to the music, because I'm sure it's gonna pop. I think Mike, not Giannino, Mike. I forget the Giancino is the score composer. I'll double check it in a second.
Yes.
But I'm sorry if I butchered his name, but he does this great combination of having his own motifs, his own little themes that he puts in here, flourishes that are very upfront, and then subtly mixes in I'm talking the John Williams track under it. He probably recomposed it and reconfigured it to fit perfectly, but it is they are nods to direct pulls from John Williams themes over the years, and just sneaks them right in there. There's a couple there were a couple prequel era ones. I think it was the Droid Factory theme came in. I'm not sure if it was 6 or 7, but we will cover the music in this.
I feel like it sounded similar to a Rogue One sort of treatment of the Rebel theme almost, for the kids and their adventure, but sort of pirate skewed, obviously, a sort of I don't know, sort of melodious chamber sort of orchestra as well, with sort of pirate themes as well, throughout the whole thing, and then that sci-fi theme in the episode 3. The music has gone through so many twists and turns, but then when it comes back to this core theme for the kids and the adventure that kind of really goes all in this episode, I was this works, and this is incredible, and this is iconic, and just huge shout out to that core theme. I think that then comes back in this episode and keeps going, that's sort of the main crescendo that happens over and over again, and then turns into a lullaby with sort of just single harp notes or something at some point, right? Like that
Yep.
stuff works so well. The
Yeah.
discovery of At Attin, all that stuff is just so good.
It gives me the feels. It carries the, you know, the emotion through well. It like it, you know, echoes and enhances the emotion of what you're supposed to be thinking. We'll talk about. There's a scene at the end of episode 7 here that definitely the music just worked, just added so much to an already amazing scene. But that's at the end. So why don't we start at the beginning?
Yes, let's do
We're
it.
burying the lead here. This episode was amazing. So we've had this little through line from the parents, and we catch the parents here
This is
finally.
incredible. My wife goes, "Why are they out in the woods? Why couldn't they do this in their backyard where it's like their private property?" And I was like, "That's a great point. I have no idea, but I'm with them. I
Yeah,
guess it's just that bad of a surveillance state that you have to, even as adults, have to sneak into the woods to
yeah.
start up this transmitter." And
Maybe the droids would like know if all
yeah,
the parents, like all those people, are together in the same house.
well,
Like,
there's energy surge right at his
yeah,
desk
I
that
guess.
they sent scan it.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
those droids don't miss a beat. It's almost like they're one hive consciousness.
this was such good comedy though, and so the blocking was incredible, and the droids running through the forest looked awesome, and
Yeah,
and the
yelling.
parents just getting stunned.
Yeah, and the droids are yelling, "You will be
Yeah,
stunned for your own safety.
yeah, yes, yeah,
Stop, or you will be
yeah.
stunned." Yeah, that was terrifying and amazing. It's yeah. The second time I watched it, it flew by, but the first time I watched it, I was like beat by beat. I was like, "Is this person gonna get it
It's
away?"
so
I'm like, "Are they gonna
good.
kill everybody? Like what's?"
Yeah,
And they obviously didn't kill anybody, but yeah, it was high drama, really
so
fun
good.
bit, really fun bit. And then we had the droid, which you know what, we totally don't know the name of, right? The transmission
Yes.
droid from the High Republic.
Oh yeah. Well, we think it's a transmission droid from the High Republic? It could be.
I do,
Okay.
or a version of it. And the EX communication droid.
EX communication droid. Okay, it could
Thank you.
be.
Whew. And I don't know. That's kind of what I think, because they're like real space communicators. Like you just Pony Express was the way they communicate in the High Republic. If you're not up
It is
on all
cool that
your
it's like a hollow
hyperlinks.
message that
Yeah,
they're sort of like
yeah,
transmitting out uh, at all times, and it's the most touching
yeah.
hollow message of all time. We'll talk about that in just a minute. I don't know if that's the next beat, but
No, it's not the next beat.
yeah,
Yeah, but that was it. So great scene. Yeah, then we get into the Onyx Cinder, and Wim's pouting again because he doesn't want the adventure to be over, and or is afraid of his common life, which is sort of hilarious,
yeah.
given what
I
he's
thought it
just
was
gone
kind of
through.
unclear. It was a little unclear to me. I didn't really. I guess it's that the dad is sort of cold and it doesn't and hides, aspects of society from him, and or something, and then doesn't want to talk to him or spends too much time working, and there's sort of a divide. But there's also a tragedy in their life. There's some trauma. There's a lot going on that I think is like you could maybe do a whole season of sort of what's going on with just their
Yeah,
relationship. I think it's pretty deep compared to all the other characters. All the other characters, you kind of understand what's going on with them and their parents, and then there's a lot more I think to discuss and explore with and his dad and that relationship. Feels like there's a lot there. So like I'm interested to see what they do in one episode with that,
yeah,
because it's almost like is this like I feel like this is all set up for like them having a great relationship and then like more story or something. I don't
yeah.
know, or yeah,
I,
something.
I definitely felt that. Also, I'm glad you brought that up. But I mean, I think on its face, it's just like it's more that like Wim's life isn't going super great at the moment. Is the way I interpreted it. He's gonna fail his exam. He's gonna end up being like whatever the lowest rung on the totem pole of At Attin is. And he's not gonna be a Jedi, and he's not gonna be. It just seemed like that was more. But you're right. Like there's definitely some stuff going on with him and his dad. I mean, we know he was like cold, and it's just like go through the routine. He's just grinding at work, and there's no mom, and there's just like, yeah. But yeah, I think, yeah, he just doesn't have poor Wim, man. I felt for him, but it is funny in contrast to the fact that he'd rather be risking his life, falling through trapdoors and like pirate vaults, than just going through a nice safe life without war.
Yeah, especially in Space Modesto where he lives.
Right.
I loved that layout.
Right,
It
and
was
all
great.
those pirates in the ship are like, that's exactly, we want Space Modesto. We want it right
Yeah,
now.
they're like anywhere that's safe because
Yeah.
we're wanted on 12 seasons.
exactly. So yeah, and then we go to the pirates there. They are they beat the Onyx Cinder to At Attin, and we really get this sort of like third person point of view on the planet. So what did you think about At Attin?
I thought that was I loved the sort of giant green gaseous sort of like planet that was just there before the pirate ship when they arrived. And I was with Jod the entire time. I was like, it's definitely inside there, and I was like, I agree, it's definitely inside there because it's gas. Like it looked gaseous. So like I was like, you could probably go into it.
I mean, it's spherical. It's got a gravitational center, so you're like, I mean, maybe it could just be a gas giant, I guess, but I was like.
But I love the Quarren pilot that they send out there. It was instantly one of my favorite pilot sort of moments in Star Wars after that. And I was like, the scout who's
and we already know
who's probably the most loyal and I don't know, probably talented like fighter pilot that they have, and he's just trying to be, by the book as he goes out and he approaches the sphere, but tries to be tactical in a sense. And they're like, just go into the sphere. And then he goes in and he gets electrocuted and dies.
We know that guy. And I was actually, I don't have the name here, but he was one of the ones. He's the one that like wanted a kelp farm, and Jod offered him like a whole ocean. He's like, what if you could afford a whole ocean? That was the dude. And so we like know his background. He just wants to be a farmer. And then he gets too brave, and
it's like Glurb or something.
It's.
I promise you,
it is like
it's such a good name. I'm telling you, it's this show is way too good. The pirates are incredible. Like there's a grand with an eye patch, I believe. Over one of the eyes. Oh my god.
Yeah,
so good.
So good. No, the pirates are amazing. It's funny to see Vane running around back there. Vane and Space Urkel or Pirate Urkel are working together. And I don't know, it's just funny to have. I love that he doesn't have any speaking parts. He's not like a real character. He's just there. And it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So,
so Brutus, though.
I know. So much about Brutus. So, I mean, that whole scene with, like, he's getting spaced, everything was great in that.
Being spaced and going to the airlock, if you have a fear of that in sci-fi movies, this episode is up there in the upper echelons of, like, oh my goodness, like, the idea of just going out and just, like, just getting spaced is
not awesome.
It's so interesting when you sort of, like, explore it in a way that, like, you show maybe the airlock first empty out, and then the audience is like, oh, that's terrible. Like, it would be terrible to get sucked out into space, and then Jude Law's thrown out in there, door shuts, guy has finger on button, and like it's just the tension was incredible.
Yeah, they've been working the tension real well. Like even that first scene where the hot potato, like you said, with the message droid was like, I was on the edge of my seat that whole ep.
The hot potato scene, the hot potato transmitter was blocking, just the droids, like everything. So good.
Lee Isaac Chung was the director for this one.
Yeah.
Pretty good stuff there.
This is standout episode of the season so far for me.
Yeah, but no, I did love that Glurb scene. We got the actual like the real Star Wars in the cockpit cam, like low cam, shooting back at the fighter pilot, which we haven't seen yet, and it's pretty cool. Even I think we had like side shots of the X-wing pilots. Like we never got the like classic X-wing pilot view, but we got that for who we're calling Glurb now. So that was
his name's Glurb. I'm pretty sure.
Great.
That scene, Brutus then Brutus then sends Jod.
Well, no, it's they were about to space him, but he realizes. Then the kids show up, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Then Jod pulls it together. So yeah. So I don't know. Then he puts it together. The ship's the key, et cetera, et cetera. They do the tracking,
That's right.
the like classic tractor pull scene, and hilarity ensues, and they see the beacon. But I had a question for you. Do you think that all the other, because I'm still thinking about like what the Jewels of the Republic are. Do you think the other ones were decoys? Because there's a line, and Smee has a couple bangers in this one, SM-33, and he calls it. He's like, the real treasure planet was inside a storm, and the way he said that, I was like, oh, I wonder if it's like a little bit of a shell game.
He says that, and then Brutus is like, "We're entering the storm," and I was just like, "Oh, they're really doubling down on the word storm to describe this barrier."
Yeah.
Which we, as readers of the High Republic novels, know all about storm walls and sort of storm seeds. The sort of that the giant electric generators. They looked like storm seeds to me, and sort of my imagination of storm seeds from the High Republic novels.
Yeah, they actually look exactly like the ones from Outlaws. There's like these beacons that they use, but they're like traveler beacons, but it's a really similar design. They don't do anything in Outlaws. They're just, I think, communications beacons or something that just float around out in the space. But no, I agree. I definitely got High Republic vibes. It'd be very interesting if this is a derivative of the Storm Wall.
It was interesting when he said that's why me captain stole his first mate's old Republic ship or something like that. Like SM-33 basically highlights that this ship was stolen, and it's like an old Republic ship that somehow is built to go between the jewels of the Republic, like you're talking about, or just old Republic planets of significance.
Yeah, I love the fact,
and sort of has can landing sequence auto landing sequences are always overriding.
Yeah, always overriding. It's a great bit. Keep bringing back the auto landing there. Everyone's always just like,
it's such a good bit.
They're like, well,
he's like, it looks like an auto landing sequence has initiated. It's just like, oh yeah, of course. Like whenever you pilot, it just that's how you land.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that they actually, the device that the ships were the key. That makes a lot of sense. There's like so much brand new Star Wars in here in like such a fun way that just makes a lot of sense. And that's one of the things. It's like, oh yeah, the ships, it's not a path engine. You don't need a path engine to get through. That's like too complicated. But
it's like the ship is built to do that. And bypasses the sensors. Yeah.
You know what? You guys talked a little bit about the design of that ship last week. My 2 cents on that was I got Mantis vibes off it from Fallen Order / Survivor.
Yeah, you're not wrong. That's a pretty, those silhouettes match. Yeah, I would agree.
Other than the wing design, obviously the Mantis has that sweet swivel wing, and this one has actually the wings kind of swivel, but in the opposite direction. That's what I got, and so we don't know how old the Mantis is. Actually, it's kind of one of a kind, but it could be old. It's got to be a pre New Republic.
So that's what I think.
Empire.
So that got me thinking about what that means, that this ship is an old Republic ship and sort of connected to At Attin. What does that all mean, essentially? And I came to the idea that this ship must be this ship must be the Stormwall technology from the High Republic era, and this way to build barriers and things like that maybe comes from an even older era than the High Republic. And I wouldn't be surprised in the novels that we read, there's maybe the Avon Staros sections or the Chauncey Yarrow sections. Could they have mentioned that this technology existed in the old Republic, and that's when they brought it to the Nihil and all this Stormwall sort of occlusion zone stuff that we've read. in the books there is sort of derived from that.
And it's an awesome question.
That's for the stuff. Yeah, it's a crazy question.
Yeah.
And like the show kind of just, but like that's just such a background note for people watching this, like who don't read the books. They're probably just like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like the visual effects are just incredible. Yeah, so just shout out to the VFX in this episode.
Yeah.
Like if any show deserves a sort of VFX achievement award, it's this show.
Yeah, there's so much nuance in this show, and like even in the lore drops, it's still giving mystery boxes for us to unfold, and they don't have to answer them. It's just going to be something that's like kind of exciting to watch and go through. So, yeah.
So they go, yeah, but just so cool that they. Well, I love that the kids sort of escape.
Yes.
And Jod sneaks aboard. That is such a cool.
And the way they escape, with the like claimsies, unclaimsies, reclaimsies, like bit.
Oh, so good. The claimsies bit was
and it was
and SM33 listening to Fern was awesome. I was like, this is SM33. This is who he is.
Yeah, he was like, you know what? They're better. He's like, I liked Fern better as captain, and that was it. And he took his side and did the thing. That was so fun, man. And SM33, what a great character. I love that the rat makes an appearance.
We did bypass Brutus's death, which is pretty rough.
No, right. That's
we did. We went past it.
Yeah. Remember when I was like, there's definitely going to be like a redemption arc for Jod? That's not going to happen. I'm going to. This is my concession
Brutus
speech.
Cold blood in this episode, and it is like it doesn't shy away from either. He just murks him, and then it's just reverse shot shows him lying there dead in the crane in like the claw.
Yeah, the claw bit was amazing. By the way, the claw bit.
It's very intense.
Yeah, that claw is terrifying, and it's like again a super Star Wars thing to do, to snatch him with that. But yeah, I mean, no, Jod's he's in a rough patch right now. He's in a very rough patch.
Well, but I don't know. The way this episode ends just makes me think it's it's the ultimate meme of all time. Of
Youngling Slayer.
All the those bags. You know what I mean? Like whatever the meme is, it's just like it's him at the end.
Yeah.
It's so
with
good.
the bags. Yeah.
It's
Yeah, that's gonna be a meme forever.
A meme forever. Yeah, he gets a forever meme in this episode, which is kind of incredible. And I think it's a positive meme, and I think it's going to send his character in a positive trajectory. But
meaning, if he doesn't have to worry about money, he's a pretty good guy.
Yeah, I honestly think that I don't know. That could be what it's about. I don't know, but to me, it feels like he's just gonna. Well, I don't know, because the security system on the planet, and what they have going on there with all the droids. I don't know if he can.
Oh man, there's a line. There is a line.
A droid's gotta that lightsaber's gonna get some use.
Oh, that would be because, I mean, there's a line later. I'm just gonna say it because it makes sense here. Supervisor, he's like, that's better than dealing with a droid. And I was like, oh, you had to go and say that, didn't you? I mean, it's definitely going to be, Wizard of Oz is going to be a droid, right? Like
we heard the supervisor speak in this episode over like a loudspeaker.
Okay, but the supervisor's the supervisor's voice, right? Human voice.
It sounded like John Cleese. I was very excited. It's like, is this what I'm like? John Cleese?
Definitely someone.
We talk about this all the time.
Someone doing a Cleese impression, at the very least, if not John himself. But I would hate for them to waste him on just like that. I want him in a full Star Wars. But remember the crab droids? The trash crabs. Sorry. They had the Dio voices, which I thought was going to drive you guys crazy, but you didn't even mention it.
I like Dio. Adam's
Adam.
I think.
Adam. Yeah, I'm surprised Adam.
I like
that. I think it's kind of cool. I love that they use that again, and they have like very simple human speech. And so like I'm just wondering. I think a droid can have an emulator. I mean, that's the curtain, right? Is the human speak.
I do think that is the best commentary you could do with the show. Is that like it's basically like this automated,
money factory,
capitalist sort of government that's that's run by droids, and it's essentially this eternal loop of just generating money and following procedure, but it's actually just leading to nothing and just money creation, but there's no economy outside of the planet.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so we're jumping ahead of ourselves now, but I mean, should we just go down the rabbit hole, or do you want to back up from here?
No, I think we covered Brutus's death. I think like we can move into the planet now, and that their
Right.
ship, basically the kids and Jod sneaks aboard the kids' ship after a sort of like fight with
Right.
SM-33. SM-33 gets cut down by Jod
Yeah, and this is
with
after
the
after we
lightsaber.
hear the
This
message too. The
is
kids hear the
oh,
message, and that's important.
and- oh yeah, the message from their parents. That's a huge
Yeah,
part.
I mean, obviously, super like reminiscent of Leia. But it was that's the only thing that kind of checked me out of it for a second. I was like, wait, what? Like they're not. I'm like, tell them how to get home. Like give them directions, and they're just like, no, we just want our speeches of support to help you.
They're like, you need to find a Republic
Emissary.
emissary. I
Yeah,
was like,
finally there was some
okay.
knowledge. I'm like, okay. They just all wanted to send their love letters first, which was really sweet. But I was like, wait. I'm like, get to the brass tacks here. But yeah, the Republic emissary. So like, they're supposed to be connected to the Republic, but I have a feeling that they're not. Or do you think that the Republic actually has like regular runs into the planet, and this is actually like a money factory, and it's like super hidden? Or do you think that they're just like printing money, waiting for an emissary, but one hasn't showed up in a million years?
That's what I
Yeah,
think. Yeah, I think emissary. I think they haven't had a ship in a very long time because maybe the Stormwall
yeah, they
technology,
can't even get
or
through it, or it's
yeah,
forgotten, or like in the like purge, like when the Empire took over, they just didn't know. I mean, I find it hard to believe that the Emperor didn't know this was sitting there the whole time, but it would be pretty funny if he didn't.
I kind of want the supervisor to be the pirate that he keeps talking about.
Oh, Tech
Uh,
Ramiford or
yeah, Tech Radin or whatever his name is.
yeah,
I was like, I was hoping it would be that pirate who decided to be like, oh, this actually works for me, and took over like just the top spot of the droid, like manipulated the droids to take over the top of the pyramid of
yeah.
like society, and
He's just
then
sitting on a horde.
just sitting like Wizard of Oz, like
Yeah,
behind
but would
everything,
the
and
would the
then
droids be helping them if he was still in charge? Maybe he's just like there's a skeleton up there, and it's Tack Renan is his name.
Tack
I
Renan.
mean, and Tack Renan's skeleton is there, and like the droids have just like been stockpiling money ever since.
Yeah, actually, because the ship must have crashed years and years ago, being
Yeah,
underneath that much earth.
yeah.
Yeah, so maybe he's gone.
I think he's
I
yeah,
don't. His supervisor's a droid. It's got to be
yeah,
droid. I'm just trying to think other ways he could go
yeah.
here.
I know. I think that was too heavy a hint, but there must be. Yeah, because I mean, I'm still rooting for pre-High Republic era, like how long this planet's been here printing money. But yeah, I mean, who knows how long? Yeah, yeah. I was like, I thought for sure it would be the captain as well, but unless he had some way to prolong his life, or they have like the ghost of Tack Renan, or he's put himself into a digital consciousness or something. I don't know. Because he kind of had that at his stash. He had like recordings there, but hopefully we'll get at least another recording from Tack.
But yeah. Anyway, so then they initiate after Jod cuts down SM-33, which is
Brutal.
brutal, and I think
Almost steps on the rat.
you gasp again, and you're just like, oh my
Yeah.
god, this is wow. Like he's gone. Like, and a lot of fans I think he'll come back,
This
and I'm
fan
like,
does.
you do too, and I'm like, yeah, you'll have to a KB will have to like fix him at some point or something.
Yeah,
I don't know,
he's
someone who's
fixable.
good, yeah, good at fixing droids. He's definitely fixing.
Yeah, I'm hopeful, but it was a tough scene because he was like kind of the hero of the beginning of the episode, and then just like cut down.
That was
It was
tough.
tough.
And then the Jod threatens them and their parents, and waves the saber around
Yeah,
threateningly.
yeah, that was something. That was like it was. You really got that. It was almost like the first scene with a lightsaber. Like it mimicked the sound of like the like pulsing electricity, where you were like sort of like Luke, yo, be careful with that thing, dude. You know, like that was always the first thing in my mind when he was waving that around, and like that's what the way I felt he was kind of waving it in front of their faces. And I still think he's being manipulative, as mean as he's being.
Yeah, I was like, where are you? Where are you with
on
his
one.
John the Jedi nowadays? Like, for me, it's like this is I just don't think he was ever a Jedi, ever. Like, I don't think he ever studied
in
the Jedi Temple, ever. Like, it's just I just don't think he ever did.
Yeah, I get that. He's just a little too proficient. I'm sort of rooting for a situation where he was a Jedi and has just been on this road for so long, it's all he knows, and he's having a bad day. He's just like so far away from it.
I would love that reveal I love that reveal. I just the morals in this episode, I was just like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, and then I don't know, I didn't get the waving the saber around, but I was like, I almost wish he just like forced through it, like 3 feet away from himself, stopped it, pulled it back, and was just like, if you try to run or something, and just does that, and then like that's it, and then be like, whoa, he uses the Force and a lightsaber, that's scarier.
Yeah, but I don't think it was supposed to be that scary. I think they were trying to do like
it was
nuance.
Truly scary. Are you kidding?
No.
The lightsaber was like inches away from their faces. I'm like, this is terrifying.
But it was like the actions of someone that's trying to scare kids and like not really having violence in his heart.
It's a lightsaber.
Yeah. Like he was not.
It's not a flashlight.
Yeah.
It's not like.
Oh, it was terrifying. But I'm just saying there was a little bit of nuance in
I thought that was too close, honestly. I was like, why not just do something where you throw it to the side and then demonstrate some prowess with the lightsaber, and they're whoa, and then you're just like, what? And then Fern and that exchange where he's like, what are you gonna say? What do you want?
He just like lost it on his kids. Like he was just like,
he did.
He was.
It is. It's a dad losing it on like his 5 kids.
Yeah. And I mean, he was a kid bully for a second. I just think it's because they're always doing that. Like I don't really think. Well, he's killed so many people. Like he's a bad person. But the kids are his kryptonite a little bit.
He's not a good person. Like holding the lightsaber that close to them, I was like, that's actually threatening. And then telling them he's going to carve up their parents. Like, this was dark stuff.
Do you think?
Like,
you really think he's going to kill anybody in the next episode? I mean, any of the the kids or their parents?
He'll cut that droid's head off. That's standing right behind. Droid's gonna get its head chopped right off. No, I think he's gonna liberate the planet. I think the pirates are gonna liberate the planet for the parents, free the parents, and free all the people to go live amongst the new republic, the actual republic.
If they want.
And if they want to, or whatever they want to do, bring down the storm wall, bring down the supervisor, and Jod will lead them all with a lightsaber and be like, "Kid, you were right about me.
Yeah.
I am a Jedi, and I have all this money, and rides away with the gold, and is a good person."
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, as evil as he's being, I feel like they're leaving like a tiny little bit of like moral, like there's still something there, and it's that's not entirely evil. Like,
yeah, he feels so real.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, his strife and conflict as a character is just really palpable, and Jude Law just brings so much to the role, and he's instantly actually one of the most interesting Star Wars characters.
Yeah, which is what I hoped for, and I'm glad I got it. That when you bring in Jude Law, you're like, whoa, all right, like,
yeah,
all right, we're gonna bring in real actors to do this, and I think it was a great use of it. It's sort of like, I mean, Oscar Isaac, like he like almost needs his own show, like to shine bright enough in there, but I digress. Oh God! In the message, there was one beat. Sorry, I'm running back. Where the parents are like, "Don't tell anyone about this place," and Jod just goes, "Oops."
yeah, I remember that. Yes, it's so good. Yeah. It's so good with the vocoder.
We get with the helmet returns. I love that he's like, "All right, I'm gonna."
That helmet's rad. It's the pirate hat. It's the tricorn almost hat. It's very cool.
Yeah, the tricorn helmet, dude. It is really a cool look for him. It's sick. Yeah. It's like Boba Fett's helmet with a pirate hat welded to the top. Like,
Yep.
Sick. It was great, but it was short lived, right? He's like, I'm gonna be a pirate again. This is what I know. I'm gonna do this, and then like instantly it has to come off, and he has to deal with things, and he's just like Jod again dealing with these kids.
I like how the helmet sort of organically just comes off.
Yeah,
like gets punched in the face, gets his bell rung.
Yeah,
like, wow, that scene. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. This is a classic one. It was. This is always going to be a good one to rewatch.
All right, fast forwarding to the descent onto the planet.
Yeah.
Should we do it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
So,
yeah, he's gonna come back. Like someone will fix him or something.
yeah, I know it's a bummer. Yeah, so we get the supervisor message. So we get the parents. They're about to be whatever sentenced, or I don't know, slapped on the wrist, or like whatever,
Oh yeah,
in
that
the
happened.
conference room.
Yeah,
And then that's when we get the supervisor message. It's like, this is the supervisor. It's like,
yeah. It's like this is the
everyone,
supervisor.
and it's like some pre-recorded thing for like when a ship's coming in, and like you see where the ship's gonna land, and it's like covered in moss. That was such a great scene. They do a great job of like giving you a sense of space.
But I think the supervisor's like a Republic emissary has
Yes.
arrived for like a shipment,
Yeah.
like a you know, one has not arrived in a long time or something.
Yeah.
Something to that effect. I was like, oh, this is interesting. This is and this then the whole field opens up into like a hangar.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, that was incredible.
Pretty amazing. Yeah, you must be the emissary, and they just like then he's just on the ride, and sees the massive mint. And yeah, I should also say, like, you guys were waiting. You just said Chekhov's lightsaber last week, and that's exactly what happened. I had already seen this episode when I was listening to your podcast, and I was like,
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
And it's, man, did the lightsaber pay off or what? Like, holy cow! When you finally see it lit, he's like, yeah. Anyways, I digress.
I mean, oh right, yeah. When he takes out SM-33 for the first
It just
time,
lights it. Like, you're like, oh, like, because you knew there was going to be a dramatic lightsaber like ignition at some point, but I thought it would be in a heroic way. Instead, it's like, no, I'm just gonna take over.
oh,
the
at
ship.
the end, at the very end, you're talking about like end credits.
No, when it was first revealed was what I was talking
Oh,
about.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. In Ep 6, you were talking about.
Well, yeah, Ep 6, like we
Or
were.
Ep 5, the end of Ep 5, and then this episode. Yeah.
I think we've fallen off the rails. In Ep 6 ended like where we. Oh yeah, Ep 5 we don't see the lightsaber, and then yes, you're right, it pays off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it pays off in this one. Sorry, that was just one thing I wanted to say because they flipped it there. I was like, when we see that
it
lit,
did
it'll
look
be something
cool. And it's a High Republic saber.
Yeah.
You see like the hilt quite a bit, and
Yeah.
so you're already game for this hilt. You're already
Yeah.
like, where is this hilt? How do I get this?
I guarantee
gold.
I guarantee you there are like 5 luthiers making these lightsaber hilts right now, and they're preparing them for mass production. People are going to be all over these because it's a sweet design. It's a classic.
John's hilt.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it'll have a real name. Who knows?
It's very cool.
Because if the lightsaber book came out,
the saber, the blade itself seemed more thin, like almost like a pirate's saber.
Oh.
You know,
like a rapier.
yeah, or cutlass.
Cutlass?
Yeah, it just kind of looked like
Okay.
To me, it just kind of looked. Yeah, it was very slender. The blade itself. Check it out. It almost felt like Rebels a little bit. It's felt like a different make almost.
Yeah.
Like the sabers might have been a little different or something. I don't know. Definitely different era. The hilt, right? The hilt looked Old Republic, High Republic. I don't know, something.
Yeah.
That era.
Oh yeah, definitely the hilt definitely looks like High Republic, and yeah, I'll have to check out the blade again because I bet you're right. It did. It had its own power, but it was like it sounded amazing. It was like a classic.
It did have an interesting sound, right?
Yeah.
Like it was a more high pitch too, and the blade a little bit more.
It sounded a lot like Luke's and Obi-Wan's sabers to me. Like I think they tried to go like this is as core.
Do you love blue? Do you love blue for Jod? Is that?
Yeah, I do. I do love blue for Jod. I don't know what color Jude Law's eyes are, but if they're, I think whatever color that is, that's what his saber should be. I think. I think green's the best color. We've talked about this. Just like for some reason, green is just. I don't know. It's my favorite lightsaber color. But
I think green is interesting because like you see a lot of blue, so when someone's green, you're like, oh, this is interesting. They got the green crystal.
Yeah, blue is the most basic. I think we see a lot of them, but. After
I don't know, like Petronaki Arena, it's like blue. Everything's 50-50 blue-green. I feel like
which is wild because it gives you a sense of how rare like gold and and like purple.
Yeah, I mean, it's again that's a product of when things were made and how much of a certain color they were going to do.
Yeah, I like blue for him. I think they're just like, oh, this was a great Jedi's High Republic saber that this poor pirate is using. But there's more to be told about Jod, and I hope they give us more. But if they don't, and they're just like, yeah, figure it out. Like, I don't know what he was. Like, I don't know Jod's history. Like, that'd be kind of funny too. If they're, you don't know if he was just a guy or if he was a Jedi or what his whole deal was.
I thought he says he's like, I've been hungry since I can remember,
Yeah.
and I was like, what does that mean? Like, was he always a starving orphan? Like, was he not a Jedi? The Jedi are given rationed food in the temple, I imagine. Like,
I think he was talking out his butt. I think it was just like he was just pouring it on thick, giving a performance for his crew. And I think he could have been lying through his teeth on that whole time.
so that's the whole thing. Is I felt he was one step ahead of all the pirates the entire time, and there was almost no threat from Brutus and like everyone, because he was always like, no, that's the key. Is the key to get in the like that ship is the key, like to get in the planet or whatever, and like all this sort of stuff, and like buying more time.
So we see him use the Force. Do you think so? When Brutus gets snatched, he takes off his handcuffs with the Force
binders. I'm sorry,
right, in front of his crew. And did you get the sense that was the first time he had done that in front of the crew? Because I kind of did. I kind of felt like he was hiding.
I think he hides his Force powers. It's like he is a Jedi who survived the Purge, who like just doesn't use his Force powers, and then like. And then is angry at the world because maybe his master died, right? Like Kanan. And then he's a little bit more dark side than Kanan or something. And so he's a pirate.
Yeah, I mean, he's been surviving, man. Hungry people do bad things. I love that interpretation of his character. And yeah, he's made a lot of bad decisions and hurt a lot of people.
And what if your master is like being blasted by droids, and then you just have to leave them behind, and then your whole life is like on the run and hiding, and like
and he fell into piracy.
Okay, that's like the one Jedi story I could see for him, but it's like
that's it.
His morals and like make me think he's never been to the temple, like set foot inside the temple, and then
but there's so many of those lessons, those like inside the Jedi temple, like quotes. I see what you're saying. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to knock that down.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, there are. He has the quotes. You're not wrong. Like they try to steer into the Jedi stuff a lot.
But it still could be that he's just like knows because it's colloquial knowledge about the Jedi, and so that's what he's just spouting, and he's never learned. But he's got some moves. We haven't got to see him with a lightsaber.
Wait, so like if the New Republic has him in their registry as Crimson Jack, and like Luke doesn't care, like what does that mean? Like, and this is a Force user? Like, I guess he's not.
Right. If he was a Force user, he'd be tagged by the Republic, or he'd gather more attention. Yeah, I think he's never used his Force powers publicly as a pirate, so that it's not known. So he's just a common pirate, I think. And he changes his alias on the daily, so... In fact, I'm not even sure what his crew called him. I didn't have the subtitles on. But, like, once he was, like, had the helmet back on, they called him Captain something, but I don't think it was, like...
Captain Silva, but I think someone at some point calls him Captain Jod, which I loved. Yeah. I was like, Captain Jod is awesome. Like, that's my favorite name for him so far. Yeah. It's my favorite moniker for who he is, Captain Jod. He will forever be Captain Jod to me. Such a fun name.
It's a fun name. That'd be great.
It's a good Star Wars pirate name. I just like it.
It's even better than Captain Silva.
Yeah, I like Captain Jod quite a bit.
All right, so let's get to the Mint, because like we're down there. He gets taken.
We're burying the real lead here, which is deep underground.
Yeah. Massive factory, and I think we got a little bit of. Episode 2.
Did you feel threatened with all the droids on the platform, and like them exiting the ship, and then all the droids leading them down in the elevator, and like sort of like the ship landing on the landing platform, it being a turbo lift that goes just down into like a vault. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But while the droids are there, that I was kind of like, This is kind of eerie. There's a lot of these weird droids just standing around, like they're guiding them down. I was like, this is a trap. It just felt like a
Huge
huge
trap.
trap.
Yeah, and I think Jod felt it too. He's like, because he's
Yeah,
like,
Jod.
leave the kids on the ship for their own protection.
Yeah, so Jod turns into a hero. So, anyways, I just want to talk about how much I love Jod Nanawan as a character.
Yeah.
Like after this episode, I was like, okay, this is just secure Jude Law is like maybe one of my favorite characters of the last decade in Star Wars. You know, to be in the Star Wars story. And just when he starts having a bad feeling about going down to this vault and sort of coming up with a narrative to get through all of this as this Republic emissary, getting a shipment or whatever he needs to do to get vault access and move forward. And it's so you're with him. He's our hero again.
Yeah.
In like a weird way, where he's the villain, he's the hero, he's the villain, he's the hero. And you're kind of like you kind of want him to succeed, and you're rooting for him when he's dealing with all these droids, right? And it's so different from everyone else because everyone else runs away and the droids stun them, and he has a fighting chance. We know he's a lightsaber. Like we're excited, like this, and we know he has the Force. Like droids, you can just throw droids around with the Force essentially.
I know it definitely feels prequel-y, like with him on a platform.
He's very anti-droid. He's very anti-droid. He's always about shutting droids down and he knows how to shut droids down, and he was always very proactive with SM-33. He was like, SM-33 is very dangerous. I need to take control of that droid, and like.
But he's also very helpful too. Yeah. But I mean, it took a while to build up his trust. Yeah, it definitely it felt like they were battle droids, and they're like, we're going down now. He's like, I want to like. They're like, nope, we're going. This is our protocol, and we're it's like almost like they're being guided.
This is what makes me think he's gonna liberate the planet. This is what makes me think he's going to be a hero in this final episode and liberate the planet. There's no more worries as long as he gets off the planet with all these riches, like as much as he can. You can't even fit. Like that, it's like when you. What I loved about this episode is I think it showed you just more currency than you've ever seen on screen in anything ever, and that's just based on sort of like what it looked like and how it was packaged, and it was just. The vault was. I think I called this. I don't want to give myself a shout out here. That's never in a good favor. But it's like I did say, I was like, we saw nothing in the beginning. Like the first graphic is nothing.
Just one credit.
Eventually, I have to see all the credits. Eventually.
Yeah, that would be great.
That was all the credits. It really was. Honestly.
The basic dude in me was like, just fill your starship that you have. Run it up and do as many shipments, as many runs as you need to do between your ship and there, and like play it off. But he keeps trying to drag that giant ship through the I don't know. I mean, I guess he really does stand by his crew, and he wants something for them. I'm surprised. One of those pallets would be more credits than you could ever spend in a lifetime.
I know that's what I'm saying. Like there's enough for everyone. Yeah, but at the same time, that would be robbery nonetheless. If this is some sort of planet has some sort of contact with the New Republic, who knows what's going on with this planet? It could still be a money printing planet for someone, in a completely legal sense.
I want to talk about two beats real quick. One
sure.
is as the droids are talking to him when they're down there, they sounded like Kaminoans to me, the way they talked. It had that like Kaminoans guiding Obi-Wan through the clone droid factory, the clone factory like voice. It's like, yes, and we've been producing these credits. There are 1,189. Do you get the quote, the reference there? Instead of 1138, it's 1139.
That's amazing.
And they 1,139 vaults that are all like 10 football fields,
like as big as that.
It's like 50 Costco
so
warehouses
that's
on top of each other.
And then so anyways, that whole the vault opens, he sees all that, all the credits, and then he's not casual at all. Instead, he just like rushes over to one of the carts. Not rushes over, but just kind of
staggers over.
Staggers over to it, falls to the ground, like pulls one credit out like Jenga,
and it just
comes a flowing. And then that image is I think the meme
That's
of
the
all
meme.
time.
Because like as it was
It's the
happening, I'm
all
like,
time.
put your face in it. Put your face in it.
Yeah,
That's what I do.
he
And he does.
does.
He's like, ah.
Yes, it's
Oh, but
incredible.
yeah. So like
Yeah,
him leading up to that scene, they take their time so well in this,
money.
and it's like it's actually I think it's in a couple of frames in one of the promos, the trailers for this, but it's like him underlit with gold as his face is like on the level
So
as the
awesome.
palette, and then that's when the music starts, and it's this really chaotic music. It's like crazy. It's like this person has lost their mind music, and then you just watching Jude Law's face because he's like front and center, go through the range of emotions of like everything he's done to get here, and then finally like arrive, and then just like
See,
bathing
I
in
think the
gold.
families don't care about the
No, they
credits. I
don't.
think just the droids do, and
Yeah,
so they're like, let's liberate this planet and like destroy the droids. Let these pirates have a good share. Like
yeah,
we have, they could just take one vault's worth of credits, and we still have
right.
1138 vaults
As
left.
much as it rips my soul out of my body to say this, I feel like the treasure is the administration, though. The like checks and balances that just keep that society, that middle class society thriving. It's like a middle class utopia there. People just sort of they all have beautiful mid mod houses. They have everything they'd ever want. They don't want for anything except for like status, I guess. There's like no real difference between any of the
They want to
jobs
be
there.
senior
Yeah,
analysts.
they're
Yeah,
all accountants at the end of the day. They're all like financial like planners, and they don't even know why they're crunching what numbers. But like maybe I don't think there's any end users, so it's like I don't even know if they're
that's why I don't get.
necessary.
I don't understand if it's insulated. How does the economy function? Is it just like
Maybe it doesn't. Maybe they're just doing
I
math
don't
problems, and
understand?
they don't know the larger picture. And the larger picture is like I don't even know why they exist there. Maybe they have a function on that planet, but if it's droid controlled, which is what I'm leading towards, it's like, why do the droids keep the humans around?
Because the humans are the workers,
But what work are they really
and
doing?
the droids are just security. And the droids
But the droids are making the
printed all this
money.
money.
They're making,
Have printed all this money
yeah,
for the Clone Wars. Maybe you're saying Kaminoans, like
right,
reminded you of the Kaminoans, like could have been for some sort of
right.
savings for some
Well,
sort
I
of
think it's way
giant.
older than that. But I mean, it's obviously a mint, so this is like a mint planet. But I'm wondering, do you think they just need to have some human like accountants on hand for like the functions that the droids can't do? Because as far as the making and distributing of the money, that's all done by droids. Why do they even need humans? Do they need a team of accountants there to disperse the money and interface with the Republic, even though it hasn't happened in potentially centuries? You know what I mean? Are they just keeping them fresh with like exercises?
I don't understand. I really don't understand how the planet has an economy if it doesn't trade outside of its system. Like
Yeah.
I'm confused. Is it just like
I think it's
yeah,
self-sustaining.
mints? It prints money. That's it. Like that's all it
Yeah, I
does.
mean they've got to make food, right?
Because no one goes in or out of the barrier. It felt like when the ship landed, and that's an old Republic ship that SM-33 hints
Yeah.
at. That he says that that's why he stole it from First Mate. It's an old Republic ship, or something to that effect. And it's like, it didn't feel like a ship has landed there since like the old Republic, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's the way. I mean, there's grass on that, like on the thing, so it's been a long, long time. I think that's what we're insinuating. I don't know. There's some interesting questions to be answered there, but yeah, I mean, I think it's possible that they've just been gerbils in cages for 100 years, like standing
Yeah,
by,
that's what I think. Yeah, I think that's the most likely
because they have
outcome.
all they certainly don't want for money. I think it's monopoly money for them. It's like, yeah, here's 100 credits or whatever for 700, enough credits to like buy a
I think the
starship
equity
is
is
like your
just
lunch
so
money.
high on the planet. Like so the planet's so high equity that like everything is just agreed upon
Yeah.
and gets funded
But if they have
essentially.
those vaults, that
And
money's not even in circulation.
but where are they getting the food and the trade? Like, wow, I don't
Maybe there are
understand.
farmers and stuff, but like, I mean, all they need is food and electricity, right?
What is their farming situation like? Like, what's going on? I need to know.
This
I
is
need to know what
welcome to Cantina Chronicles. We're here on Acra
I need
Station
to
on
know
a
what
couple
the
of turned over
agricultural
boxes.
situation is on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're just having some jet juice in Acra
I
Station.
wish it did do a tracking shot of like a fully droid operated like farm because I would be like, oh,
Yeah,
okay, that's like where this is. It's all self sustaining and it's perfect. And it's utopia and
yeah.
it's run by droids. To me, it's like what's interesting about that is the dilemma is that wrong? Should you
Right.
want
I
out
don't think
if
it
you
is.
like it? Yeah,
That's the soul sucking part of me.
exactly.
Is it's a
Is
middle
the
class
surveyor a
utopia.
villain? Or is Oz a villain? Is he really? Because
Right.
like, or is this voice we heard? Like, are they?
That's what keeps. I
Uh,
mean, that's why it kills me. It's like this is a middle class utopia. I think is what they have there, and I'm worried if the pirates take over, they're going to destroy it, and it's like, oh, you've liberated us,
See, I think the
but
pirates are going to destroy it, and then the parents are going to like lead it, and it will be human led,
yeah, a more
and
human
they'll take it
experience.
one step at a time and be team players, and it'll be like a pretty rad planet to live on.
Yeah,
But at the same time, I think the barrier has to come down. Like if they're going to do all
I,
that, and then you can't do all that in one episode. That's so much to get done in one episode. So I think it's just
yeah.
like I don't
I
know. It's a lot.
I see. For me, I'm like, don't take down that barrier. Leave that thing up because you'd throw the whole like economy and like I don't know. It'd just be wild. And like if it's open, then it's just going to get plundered by pirates. And like, there's not even enough pirates to plunder all that plunder. There's too much booty.
I mean, in this era, what's so fascinating to me is that like part of me is like, wouldn't the parents want to contact the real Republic to help if they found out the supervisor was a droid or like this whole planet was sort of functioning as this sort of like insulated droid run economy, and that's kind of horrific to some people, and
Yeah,
they want out from that, and they want to contact the New Republic. But at the same time, like we're close enough that like there is the Shadow Council and the First Order rising
mm,
out there, and I'm like they need, and like the Final Order and just the money that
yeah.
the First Order technology is sort of like
Wow.
seems like the most high tech technology we've ever
Here we
seen,
go. Here
basically.
we go. You did
Where
it,
did
Grant.
that come from, essentially? Where did all that funding come from for the
How do you
First
build
Order?
the supremacy? You need credits, right?
I'm telling the Supremacy must have been the most expensive build of all time. And where
Yeah,
and if pirates, and the best thing is if Jod thinks he's won the day and getting all this gold, to then rug pull and take it all away from him
yeah,
in the final episode by like having something come that's bigger and stronger and just smacks Jod aside, and he's almost forever doomed to sort of like never sort of truly win the day, but he keeps going. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like as a character, that would be just such a fun character.
yeah.
But
You could do it.
I also want him to make out with all the gold and liberate the planet. Like I just don't
Yeah,
know. Like to me, it's like there's ways you could do it that they're so fun that I'm excited to see what they
but I
do.
think you just answered the question that you asked at the beginning of the episode, where it's like, who could it be other than a droid in as a supervisor? It could be a like imperial warlord, like that's actually running this thing, and it could be someone connected to the First Order.
Yeah, you're telling me Palpatine didn't uncover
Right.
all the jewels?
He had to know this was
What?
there, right?
What? So this is the thing. Like when they made. Okay, I don't want to go on a tangent right now. I
Go.
might blow up
This is
the
why we're
microphone.
here.
But like, all right. So since Disney was since like Star Wars has been acquired, right, by Disney, like I have liked everything they've done. The only thing I think they underestimated was both Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine. These are like two characters that I'm like, these characters are huge
Yeah.
characters. Like
OP.
they basically like are the mystique and the compelling sort of operatic villains of the original trilogy. They're like these just standout characters that everyone knows. They're kind of iconic. And to me, it's like they're both like if you're going to tell more narratives, I think like you basically have to weave those characters in a way that feels organic and that they're like the larger story is almost like their echoes ripple through these larger stories like throughout time,
Yeah.
and to me it's like um, I feel like I don't know, I just feel like those characters have just been underserved, and I just want to stand here and say bring Darth Vader back. bring Darth Vader back in everything and sort of weave him in and make it work. And I think they're doing that with Ahsoka. I think Anakin Skywalker is
Yeah.
sort of coming back, and I'm like, okay, there you go. It's like the whole narrative now threads together nicely. It's a fine-tuned thing, and then yeah, I don't
I mean,
know.
I think the obviously Vader has passed on, but I mean
But Palpatine knew about everything in the
yeah,
galaxy, right? So like
right.
these jewels of the old Republic, like Palpatine probably
He
researched
must
that.
have known, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. It would be comical if he didn't, because he like how he walks around like, oh, everything is proceeding exactly how I've foreseen, and the whole time there's a planet in his galaxy with more money than he could ever contemplate, like because it definitely predates the Empire, whatever is going on on this planet. They're still calling it the Republic, so it's got to be before the Empire ever was a thing. So did he miss it, or is this part of Operation Cinder, or the First Order, that led into the Final Order from him, where he had this little stash that was protected and it was going to fund the next fleet? I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, a lot more sense than just like privately funding the First Order,
Yeah, I don't know. I think I do first. My first theory is that it's an old Republic sort of world.
Yeah, and it's just forgotten about.
But
Yeah.
my third or fourth.
No, I
theory
definitely,
is
I
that
definitely
like
think
a First Order sort of like there's some, or like eventually the First Order will discover it or something like that.
I think it's definitely an old Republic world, but I think there's a chance that Palpatine knew about it and just kept it as like his piggy bank, for like in case of emergency. But you'd think he had to fund a whole empire, so you'd think he would have to dip into that to do it. Maybe he did. Maybe this is what has been the financial foundation of the whole empire and everything since, and it just keeps printing money. But I don't know. It'd be kind of fun if he didn't know about it. And I have a feeling it would be a wild like, and the Empire is, the Emperor was involved, or a name drop. I think that would be kind of like whiplash to get that. I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
I can't wait, honestly.
Yeah.
I think the Surveyor, the Supervisor, I'm sorry. I feel like that character is that reveal is going to be really fun, and that will make her. And I think a couple shows have sort of done this sort of like who's behind the curtain reveal in like, Fallout and
not
like
in
Silo,
not in Star
and
Wars.
then this, and then Wicked, and then like just the Wizard of Oz,
Paul. Yeah.
meta, like the fandom is huge right now.
You're right,
and I feel like this reveal will be big. Hopefully, it's like they've done a great job with Jod and sort of exploring him. I can't wait to see what they do with the Supervisor. And if the Supervisor, if the people empathize with the Supervisor's endeavors to like, keep this sort of thriving, middle class like alive. Like then they wouldn't want to go against him. But if this is a droid and this is some sort of like weird scheme and the people want to free themselves of it, they would side with the pirates. You know what I mean? So it's it kind of like there's a two-way flip here where it's kind of interesting to me, where it's like, but like,
do you think
I kind of like rooting for Jod? Like I kind of like Jod as a character. I like, that's my note. My note is just more Jod, and like however we just Jod out of this thing where he's a hero and we're kind of behind where his tailwind just giving him steam. Like if that can be the situation towards the end, I will be revving my fist, popping, just going crazy. My son will be doing the gritty. We'll just be, it'll just be like the greatest time.
If we get Jod riding off the sunset with a starship full of credits.
I'm telling you, it's like if that's how they end it, I'm here for it. And I'd be very excited if Jod gets to be heroic.
That'd be a very Captain Jack Sparrow, right? Or would he be?
Like saving the day, or like taking out the robots,
and then escaping with the money, and just like, ha!
Getting the money, and then winking to Wim and being like, "Adventure is real." And then gets electrocuted by the barrier, like explodes.
I hope they don't do that, or it's like he only makes it out with like 5 credits, and he's like, ugh. And actually,
That's what makes you think like the planet's gonna melt or something. I'm like, he's not gonna get
right.
these credits. It's gonna be like the Force is like, no.
Yeah.
Like,
I wonder, man.
you've done bad things. Yeah.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be exciting to see which way that
Can't
goes.
wait. This will be a big episode, and we'll all be here to discuss it, which
Right.
is awesome.
And of course, like, so the episode ends with the reunited families, and everyone's there and they're happy, and Jod lights his lightsaber.
And the kids are like, "We brought a serial killer. No big deal."
Yeah, and it's like, oh, by the way, we might all die right now, which is kind of funny. But
I think Jod's gonna spin around and take out that droid.
Yeah.
And then immediately ask questions about what's going on. They'll be like, "Dude, we have been held hostage by these droids for hundreds of years. Please help."
I wonder if there was a weird pause when I forget the blonde mother, Fern's mom. Like when Fern's mom was on screen, Jude like kind of mean mugged her for like an extra beat or two in the starship during the message, and like I'm wondering, it's almost like he knew who she was. I don't know. She could actually know the truth. Actually, right? Didn't the dad say in the last episode, like you don't find out? I was
going to tell you after you graduated. Yeah. After you graduated.
I thought it was like they tell you after you graduate.
Yes.
And so maybe they do know that they're like under droid control, and that's the deal. But they seem to be going along with it. I mean, she could have said anything on that. Transmitter.
But what happens after you're told? Are you allowed to like assimilate with the culture or leave the planet and go to the New Republic? Like, I'm wondering what's the point of learning that?
It's probably yeah, right. Like, why would they tell you if it's fall in line or die? Like, why would they do that?
I don't think it's about that.
I think it's because they're like, listen, this is how this works, and if you just play along, you're gonna have a great life. And they're like, yeah, we will have a great life, and I understand, and we're going to keep supporting it. That's why my question to you was going to be, do you really think that the parents would be like, yeah, F the system, rage against the machine, tear it down, when they look so happy in their lives? Like, I don't know if that they would do that.
Yeah, I'm interested. It's interesting. Are the jewels of the old republic like experiments, like government experiments? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, will something be revealed to the parents that will change their mind? Like, you are just rat, the Fallout thing where you're just rats in a cage sort of thing?
The supervisor sounded human. He didn't sound like a droid.
But it could be. I'm telling you, it's already been precedented that droids could sound like humans in the show.
Why can't it be the ultimate pirate who's turned fat cat and is like, this droid thing works for me and I don't need anyone? I manipulate the system to make everyone keep printing the money for me, and I printed endless money. And the thing is, you have a character who has a monologue sort of about having all of the money and what that means, and compares to like Jod's want of money, you know what I mean? And being the greedy one and having sought greed and done lived a life of greed and been this very, very wealthy individual running this money printing mint planet, like, and then that character meeting Jod and that character being possibly a pirate, the character we just talked about.
I mean, I'm still hopeful. I'm still hopeful that it's I want all my things, right? I'm still hopeful it's like a pre-High Republic installation, or like, and if that was the case, it could be like Tak Renan the Sixth. Like, maybe it's like just been generation after generation has like kept this secret and kept this place together. That could be a thing. I mean,
it'd be so funny if it was a Jedi.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm a Jedi.
Surprise! I mean, I can't wait to open that box. It's
It's not. It's definitely. It could be. It's definitely a droid. We're just shooting in the dark, trying to find other things it could be. It's probably a droid. But just like because like there's so much droid commentary already with Jod that it's like it has to be a droid basically, because that's like the foreshadowing.
Yeah. All the authorities are droids. It's just like and they're just like little
The
mice.
supervisor is just like a more advanced droid, and
Yeah.
so he has a human like
Yeah,
voice.
it's like a hive mind. Like all those droids are. I thought when they like opened that door, they were gonna show the supervisor, and it was gonna be like a giant supercomputer, and like that was gonna be the supervisor. But yeah, but it was like, oh no, they're taking him to the vault. Like I didn't realize that's what they were gonna do. But yeah,
I would love a Lobot sort of character though, who's like,
who doesn't love a Lobot?
I guess we already have.
We have. I mean, KB kind of checks that box.
Yeah, we've got.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, interesting. Who is this supervisor? It's got to be a droid.
It's got to be a droid.
Yeah, it's got to be a droid. Okay.
But
final theory, droid.
Yeah.
You heard it here last.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, I do like you've now planted the thought of having Jod rip through a bunch of droids with his lightsaber and like force abilities, like throwing them off catwalks and stuff. And I need to see that now. Like he's really been holding back, but it like finally clicks in.
Wait, you just want to see him go full Jedi?
I do.
Wreck house.
I do. I just want to see him go ham. Is that so wrong? I'm a Star Wars fan.
It's not.
There's
wrong.
a lightsaber right there. Like use it.
Yeah, we'll know. We'll know next episode. They will have to show us whether he knows how to use a lightsaber or not next episode.
And he's a little rusty, but it starts coming back to him. Like that would be really cool.
But he gets stunned immediately. They're quick to grab their little stun rifles. Those droids.
They are. I don't know. I mean,
how do you stop that? You can't even stop. Can you stop a stun round with a lightsaber?
Yeah, I think you can.
You would.
I think
you can.
Remember this?
Yeah, I think it absorbs.
Yeah,
right?
remember the scene with Ahsoka, where in Tales of a Jedi, where she's surrounded and they're just pelting her. She must be able to deflect with a lightsaber. So that'd actually be pretty fun to see on screen. It would be rad. All right. This would be great.
Anyway, so many things. I can't
wait either. So a couple things off the rails I wanted to tell you. One, we've been talking about Ahsoka a lot. The other day, I was I was actually in an Airbnb. I'd just seen a show. Everyone had gone to bed, but I was still awake and like couldn't go to sleep. Had a couple beers that night, feeling no pain. And flipped.
You put it on?
Yeah, dude. It was like someone left their logins, and I'm like, I wonder if Disney's here. And like someone left their Disney login on like the Airbnb TV. So I threw on Ahsoka episode 1, and then I watched it again like last night. Like that was like 3 weeks ago, and I was like, I had such a good time watching that episode that I threw it on again at home to be like, no, like did I really have that much fun? Yeah, I did. It is so Kurosawa. And it's so fun. I mean, it's like kind of a near perfect Star Wars. Like it starts with the dark side and like Baylan Skoll and Shin Hati like raiding that ship, and it's just like there's a lot of candy in that first. I'm gonna keep watching my rewatch, but like I have
dude. The best part is when Anakin, the spirit quest with Anakin. It's gonna be the music. You gotta listen to the music. Yeah, the music's out of control. The music's out of control.
Yeah, it's like that show like boggled my mind when it was happening, and I didn't really know how to take it, but I just like authentically loved watching that first episode.
You know what? I think we give that. I think we rate that. I think a lot of people actually, not just us, but just we don't talk about that show enough. I think that's the best way to put it. Is we don't talk about it enough as being actually a pretty cohesive and bold new Star Wars story in terms of like
it's
Peridia and going outside the galaxy and eventually these ruins and sort of establishing all this lore, and that's kind of like the stuff I've been wanting the most from Star Wars. I think it's like I don't know if the delivery system is just Dave Filoni, because Dave Filoni is sort of the tapped new guy, sort of like authority on all things Star Wars creative, and it's and lore essentially, and lore building and world building essentially, and lore crafting essentially.
He's the czar of the whole narrative.
And so it's like, and then you're getting a narrative from someone who's like you're saying, sort of the master of ceremony when it comes to moving forward in the galaxy in terms of establishing new concepts, because he knows the old concepts so well. that's sort of the storytelling you want from Star Wars as a sort of someone who's been into
Yep.
it for the past few decades and been ingesting all the different stories, and you were there in the dark times reading some of the expanded universe stuff. You're kind of like, you just kind of want to see some new concepts occur, and you kind of want to see it done from people who know the lore
Yeah.
incredibly well. And so Ahsoka is sort of like, these are Boken Jedi with our like Balin Skull and Shin Hati. These are essentially gray Jedi. This is the first
Yeah,
like Jedi
they are gray
mercenaries.
Jedi.
They're
Yeah.
cell swords. These are Ronin, like not Ronin, but like you know what I mean. They're
Yeah.
just traveling
Captain
Sith
Jod is a
sword.
gray Jedi. That's what a gray
Yeah,
Jedi looks like. Yeah.
yeah,
He's the definition.
yeah.
But yeah, Ahsoka is definitely. Yeah, I mean, the thing that surprised me was how stylized it was, like in a really nice way and really pleasing. Like it wasn't Rebels. He did something different with it. He did lean Kurosawa. He was trying to like go for that classic samurai feel, and I think he's pulled it off. And the music really played well. Like I loved it. I mean, maybe it's because you kind of like know what to expect when you're watching it, but I
It's great to
adored it.
watch with headphones. If you have headphones
Yeah,
on or you have a nice surround sound system, like
yeah.
it's just
The music slaps, and
yeah, it's incredible.
yeah, and then the special effects are amazing, and like the Ahsoka like moves are like stunning in the beginning. The punk rock scene with Sabine Wren on the highway sliding under the speeder is like sick, and then like totally different. Like yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna keep watching and see if I still have this energy. Like I don't know if he just knocked out like the first episode. It was long too. It was like nearly an hour, and but
I did think the heroes were going to take a bigger L, and Thrawn was going to be a little bit more cunning,
yeah,
because he just like bombards them at one point, and they're on the wolf, and I'm
yeah,
like, okay, like your bombardment did nothing, like at all. Like this is not
right,
what expertise are you employing here?
right,
And then witchcraft is essentially his greatest weapon,
yeah,
and I was just confounded by just some of those choices, and that's it. That's my only dings of like the
yeah.
show, really, and like that, and maybe some of the Ahsoka stuff was just. I thought Ahsoka should move faster, and I think I said the tendrils like should be
Yeah,
CG from
yeah,
like day one. I said this day one. You guys remember this? Episode one,
yeah.
day one of the pod. I was just like, it was preseason. I was just saying those tendrils,
They
like
need
the
to be
Leku,
CGI.
they should be CG
Yeah.
because it would just lend to her performance so beautifully.
There's a
Honestly,
scene where her and Harrison Dula are walking away, and both their like foam stupid like tendrils are just
yeah.
flopping around, and you're like, no, like it's like they have a.
There's like no jiggle. They're like don't even look real. There's no
they
like.
look like they have
real
stuffed
movement.
animals on their heads.
Yeah, they look like stuffed animals. Yeah,
Yeah, it's just stupid.
it's a huge problem.
Yeah.
And like I guess it's
Like,
not. I guess like the people in the Video Village didn't care at the time, but I was just like, needs to get. I would just be like, this is definitely getting touched up, right?
Yeah.
Like, we're definitely making a move, and
They didn't have the money. They didn't have the budget for that.
the whole thing is like the way she can move her head and like how they could move could be so captivating.
Yeah.
Like you could really be captivated from the character.
I feel like if you have Leku and you're running, they would tense up a bit or something. Like
something
Right.
like there's. I don't know if they're prehensile, but they're like something to the degree.
I think they're
where
a little prehensile. Maybe, I guess you're right. Maybe not.
possibly. I don't know.
I don't know.
I just feel like their ears
Yeah.
essentially, but like not like our ears. I feel like to me they're like I don't know. It's just they're definitely voluminous.
We're down the rabbit hole on.
Yeah,
when
we
we're
are
talking
down the
about
rabbit hole.
Twi'lek ears.
We're nitpicking Ahsoka, and we really want to just praise Ahsoka for how good it is.
Yeah,
how
so
different
that
it
was
is.
the thing. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna keep watching it and let you know how this, because I tried to rewatch it right after we had seen it, and I was like, it was too soon. But enough times passed where I think a rewatch would be fun of Ahsoka.
I think it's also a demonstration of the best animated character turned live action character of all time.
Yeah,
In two different ways with Sabine, both Sabine and Ezra. I
Yeah.
really think the performances of Sabine and Ezra in this show are just so good, and I don't know, that's great.
Yeah.
I love that stuff. Anyways, what else? What you said? There's one other thing. you wanted to
So the
say.
other thing is I've picked Outlaws back up.
Oh,
And
yes.
so I haven't done the first DLC yet. I've been trying to like casual platinum. Like there's so much I didn't do in that game, and like I'm just like going for aesthetic stuff. But there's like a couple of secret like gear sets that are hidden behind like massive like whole game long like quests, like side quests, the like Jet Corvo quest, and like so I'm just gathering stuff casually, like taking
You having a
having a
blast?
blast, dude. Because I wanted to get my like game up before I went into the DLC, and I'm like well, I want to have all the fits in case, so I can choose my right fit for that
Nice.
thing, and like because they all have different skills. I'm running Gunslinger now, which is super fun. Because you can like it just keeps amping up your adrenaline, and then you can, with certain charms, you can pick off 8 people in Adrenaline Rush, and it's you just like mow through folks. Like I just like went through the entire Imperial Army and their like death troopers for fun in like 3 minutes. It was just like bang 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 bang, you're all dead, and it's a blast. But anyways, so I've been doing that. It's fun. But the reason I wanted to talk about it for people that are playing. I accidentally hit the store button, which is where you like go if you've purchased, whatever, to download the DLC. But there's 2 free fits, 2 free like skin sets on the store for Outlaws. If you're in the store and you press the like in the menu, I mean, if you're in the game and you press menu to go to like the maps and that stuff, and you press the right thumb trigger, you go directly to the store, and it's just for Outlaws. And there's 2 free outfits, and one is Boba Fett across the like board.
What?
You have
what?
It's like
I'll be right back. I gotta go down. I gotta go play my game.
So it's like her fit, but like all like stylized like Boba Fett.
All
so
right.
she has like a little cape
right.
on the back.
Yeah.
And it's like, and she has the shoulder pads and like. But it's like everything. So it's like her whole like outfit, and then it's like her blaster looks like it doesn't look like an EE3, which I thought it should. But
honestly, do you know what would give this game some replayability for the ages? Is if you sort of, I guess if you ever got to the lowest sort of reputation with one of the cartels, like they would put a death mark on you, and then it would be like a randomly like RNG sort of like it's Bosk, IG-88, Boba Fett, or Zuckuss
are coming after you,
or like are coming to get you, and like it's a like different
mini
ship
bosses.
That comes, does a strafing run, and then lands, and then they come on foot and try to get you. Like, and you could just that's just like 4 different distinct scripted moments that you just do, but it's random. And the cartels hire a random one. You don't know which one it is, and then you have to kind of like go through that.
Dude.
That would be endlessly fun.
I would constantly like. I'm afraid to ruin. I have excellent rep with all of the cartels, but I have to do the thing where I think I take out one of their main cruisers to platinum it, and I have to do it for every cartel. So I'm like, oh my poor. Yeah. But it's like, if I knew I was gonna get Dengar throwing grenades at me and firing his like DL like 16 at me, I would do it just to see, like, just to get offed by Dengar. Like, that would be amazing. Or Bosk, or like, and then like these little mini bosses come like find you and kill you. That would be amazing. That would be so good. Maybe
or Chrysanthemum.
Oh, Chrysanthemum. You get 000 and BT1 like just rolling up on you, and you're like, oh hi droids, and they're just like murder.
I would love that.
That would be so great.
I would love it because it would just be like you could maybe just use your speeder and get away from them, but like the option is go back and like see what they're like cinematically as you fight them and stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean you could, but it would need to be really hard. I'd want it to be really hard.
Really hard. Yeah, it's really really hard.
Yeah, and but like the same thing. Like if you get captured by the Empire, it's like you get thrown in jail. They take some of your money, and you get released. Like, I think it should be like that. You die, you end up the last place. Maybe they steal whatever money that you have on you or something, and that's sort of it. I don't, like low stakes, but like this game usually is. But it would be fun to engage in that. Anyways, it's been a blast. So the second outfit is weird. It's called Cartel Ronin, and
I already love the name.
It looks like none of her other outfits. She's in this like tank top affair showing off all her ink. She has a bunch of tattoos, one on like her shoulder that you never see.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like this sash and these flowy pants, like and she's like like she's new money. It's like new money.
Yeah, That's cool.
And so there's like skins for, same thing with the Boba Fett. There's skins for the Trailblazer and your speeder. And with the Boba Fett one, you have like the trinket on the, or not the trinket, the thing strapped to the side of your speeder. You can have Boba Fett's helmet strapped to the side of your speeder, which is so dope. But this one, like with the Cartel Ronin, it's a bunch of sprigs of like some like flowers and stuff that you have that like smell good. Like you're like living the good life. And it's like, I don't know where it comes from or why they have it, but it is a dope fit. And it's just like, it's the I've made it fit. And, it's just a skin. Like,
all right, I'm going to play right now. That's just.
But yeah, check out the store and get those two things. They're free. Oh, and then they had one for $5, which I didn't spend on, but it's the outfit from Endor. She has like an Endor fit that you can buy.
No one wants that outfit. Nobody cares about the blotchy camo.
Yeah, and it's like a mini cape. It like only, so it's not like a stupid poncho, which like I would want a stupid poncho, if you're gonna really do it. But yeah, I guess if you're on a Kiva for a while, it works for that. But yeah. Anyways, I'm not spending $5 on that.
That was good.
Yeah, as much as like I do love finding them. But yeah, there's like the Disruptor kit, which I had to find, which was fun. It's like a ion pulse like outfit that just like you can just use ion pulse the whole time and kill people with it, and you just like melt droids, and like with the grenades, it's just stupid. You're just like ion pulse man, woman, and that one's And then I'm currently doing the Jet Corvo thing for to get the full rogue fit. But I'm just enjoying playing the game, man. Just like puttering around my 4 systems and finding, treasures that I haven't seen before. I have like 35,000 credits. I don't even know what to do with them anymore. But I'm like fully kitting out all my gear. I'm getting ready for Lando Calrissian. And I'm playing some Sabacc too to get my cheating game up for that.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's always good.
Yeah.
I love Sabacc in that game. I could play that just for fun. Yeah. Just to play a little mini game. It's great.
It's a fun mini game.
It's a good time. All right, buddy. I think we did it.
I think we did it, man. Thanks everyone for listening to us today. We'll talk to you next week. We'll have Adam back, which will be great to have him here, and we'll be talking about the finale of Skeleton Crew. So that's going to be great. Thanks very much. We'll talk to you next week on
Cantina Chronicles.